All right. Behind the scenes, peaceful billionaire, mission to billions vlog, right? This is my journal. This is the behind the scenes on the day-to-day of what is going on, right? Internally and externally for me on this journey. And I really want to start by saying I wish I would have started doing these video journal entries sooner. I was given the inspiration to do it back in December. I was sharing with someone that I was going to start, that I had invested over 6 figures in myself and in my business with 3 private, high-level private mentors. And he was just like, Jessa, that's incredible. I can't wait to see where you are a year from now. I want to hear the journey, want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And I had been in this space where I was my own worst enemy, because there were so many things that I wanted to do that I kept saying that I was going to do, and in my head I was too busy. And that's been one of my biggest challenges, right? Is there's a big difference between being productive and being busy. And when I really started thinking about it, I'm like, I would love to be able to look back on the journey and see how far I've come. I would benefit from hearing behind the scenes what's going on in someone else's journey who's building this level of success, and what are those daily trials and tribulations, or what are those days that you just feel incredibly productive and on point, right? And so as I mentioned yesterday, the past few weeks there was a lot of up and down, because I had really been riding this high wave of traveling and speaking and all of these events, but I had been away so much. There was a lot of things that hadn't been tended to, that hadn't had my attention or focus. And I had also said yes to, during that time, right, in March, it was late February when I received the invitation to be a founding member of this $1 Million Month system, and to learn that training and learn that system. And again, that was scary, right? That was scary for me to say yes to. It felt big, right? It still felt really big in the moment. There was part of me that was questioning, like, I mean, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's time yet. I don't know if I'm ready, blah, 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 like all of the potential doubts and concerns and fears and things that show up that have the tendency to talk you out of things. And fortunately, I've been on this path and on this journey long enough that I have trained myself to not listen to that lower aspect and that lower voice. And so even though, right, it felt big and it felt scary, it was still a yes, because I knew that the opportunity presenting itself meant that it was meant for me, and that I was ready, and that it was time. And that was actually something that showed up this morning in my practice, in my morning practice, was and just connecting and having some conversations was trust, right? Trust the universe, trust myself, trust the journey, trust the process, right? And I do know that I'm being divinely guided, but it's easy to lose sight of that and to fully trust that. And what came through when I was thinking about that this morning is trust is the seed, right? If you imagine trust as this little seedling, that when you pour faith on it, that sprouts into this giant exponential shift. So plant those seeds of trust where you need them, right? Make sure you're planting those seeds of trust in yourself, that no matter where you are on your journey, no matter how what your finances look like, good or bad, no matter how busy you are, how stressed you are, no matter how good or bad it might seem, that there is always the opportunity to create the change and have the life and the lifestyle that you choose and that you desire, and that you are fully in charge of creating that. And that's another thing. So these seedlings, make sure you're planting those seedlings of trust, again, in yourself, in the universe, whatever that greater force is that is so much bigger than yourself, that you have those seeds of trust, and you have those seeds of trust in your mentors and in your friends and those people who are supporting you. And then you pour faith on those, right? You pour faith into and onto those little seedlings, and they sprout into these ginormous exponential abundant things. Oh, what was I was gonna tap on something good too. What was it? It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Oh, I almost had it and I lost it again. Okay, so I'll shift gears. If it was what I was meant to share today, it'll come back to me. If not, it'll show up another day. And so the past 24 hours, just since starting to do this and commit to this and do my YouTube channel, I've been so productive. Oh, I think that's what I was gonna talk about was the time thing. I used to get really, really ticked off at the Tony Robbins saying. Tony Robbins has this saying that people tend to overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5. And I'm always I'm always this person that wants to to do things faster and get there faster and all of these things. And so in order to do that, you have to focus on, I do have the time, and it's not going to take that long, right? I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done quickly. And so if the focus is on I'm going to get it done quickly, right? Then even if it takes a little longer than you expected, it's still faster than if in your mind you approached it with this is going to take forever. And so I literally I'm actually so proud and impressed with myself, because I literally yesterday from scratch created a YouTube channel, had no clue what the heck I was doing. I watched a couple of things, and I just went with it, right? Because I'm like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get it done today, and it's happening. And so I'm really, really proud and excited about that, and for this opportunity to be behind the scenes with you. And and just share again, like those moments, right? And so what does have to happen from a scheduling perspective is like it's 7:30 p.m. right now, and I'm going to, after I'm finished with this video, I'm going to upload it. I'm going to take my dogs out and make dinner, and then I have some things I'm going to finish this evening, and then plan and organize my schedule for tomorrow and for the rest of the week. I really have been caught up, and I keep saying that I'm going to do that, and I haven't done it, but it's really, really required for me to be a lot more diligent in how I'm scheduling and blocking my time right now. But throwing this YouTube channel in the mix this week kind of threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in my scheduling and my planning, but that's okay. That's okay, right? I'm here for it, and I'm navigating, and I'm making those adjustments, and I'm just showing up in the process and having a lot of fun. And that's one of the things that I've been committed to the whole time, is enjoying the journey and enjoying the process. But that has shifted a lot more recently, and I find that when I'm having fun doing all of these things, even if it's like organizing things and doing a ton of things, as long as I'm focused on having fun in that process, and I've also shifted to just really plugging into the feeling of fulfillment, and you'll hear me talk about that more. I'm actually going to be talking about that a lot, so I'm going to touch on it here. But that has created a big shift in me and my ability to have fun in some of the steps and processes that are not necessarily always my favorite things to do. And that's the other thing that I want to stress, the funny that I'm using the word stress, the importance of, is in my past when I worked in neurosurgery. The first 6 years that I worked in medicine, the first 6 years that I worked in neurosurgery, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, and I was literally slaving my life away. I had no life outside of work. And so that's one of the things that I promised myself on this journey, that I was going to build a wildly successful business and an incredible lifestyle with a whole lot of freedom, and that I was going to do that without the stress and overwhelm. So that is part of the value, and really why I'm so proud that I'm finally showing up in this way and sharing this behind the scenes process, because it really is I get to be the proof in the pudding that it really is possible to build a wildly successful business and company without the stress and overwhelm. And that has always been my intention. And so you're gonna get to see that. Now, that's not to say, that's not to say that I don't have moments that I feel stressed, that I don't have moments that I feel overwhelmed. I know for certain if on any given day, if I think about all of the things that I need to do, that I would be so overwhelmed that I wouldn't do any of them whatsoever. So I really, have shifted into, focusing on the several few things that are going to make the most difference and move the needle further, the further the fastest, right? And that has been required, right? That has been required since I said yes to this commitment of being a founding member for this $1 Million a Month model. I knew there were some things that were going to have to change, not only within myself, right, but within my leadership, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and energetically, and within my leadership. So there were a lot of things that required expansion to step into that and to really create a significant jump in success in a very short period of time. And again, I'm stressing the importance of being able to create that and do that without stress and overwhelm, because it is important and it is possible. And so I'm at 13 minutes. I don't want these to go on for too long. I think some days they might just be a couple of minutes of me checking in, but overall, I really wanted to be on a tighter, more organized schedule this week. However, like I said, I'm super proud and excited that the channel is going, that I'm starting these daily vlog entries, and I'm just so excited to share everything with you. Like I said, I'm totally peeling back the curtain here, and you're gonna know. If it was a bad day, I'm gonna tell you. If there were tears, I'm gonna tell you. If there are successes, I'm gonna tell you. And really just let you see that stripped down, raw, behind the scenes, what's happening, what's going on with me, and also, but how I'm navigating that, right? Because that's really what's valuable for you is, okay, shit just hit the fan, and how is Jessa navigating it? There's one of my clients in one of the groups, in one of my groups, she like jokingly says, she's like, everybody's like, WWJD, right? What would Jessa do? And she said, I find myself asking myself all the time, like, WWJD, what would Jessa do? And so I want to share with you that aspect of it, right? Because I've invested a ton of time, money, energy, etc. into myself, to getting to where I am, both internally and externally. And so I want to share that wisdom and pull that curtain back so that if it helps you navigate, and right, this is what it's all about, is supporting you on your journey, helping each other win. Because I might say something to you, and you might just listen to this and be like, oh my gosh, I so needed to hear that today, right? Like, I was feeling so stressed and overwhelmed, and she just told me how she navigated it, that she was feeling that way too, and she just told me how she navigated it, and I would have never thought of that, right? Because sometimes, so you can't see your own blind spots. I can't see my own blind spots, and that's why I have like 3 extremely high-level mentors that I paid a lot of money for, and invested a lot of money in. But also, I think there's different levels too of really, again, when you say yes to yourself at that level, that's a huge commitment, and I think there's a certain there's a certain aspect of when you invest like multiple 5 figures to work with one person, right? And I did that in 3 people. There's a certain aspect of it's almost as though right, you think that somehow things are magically going to get done in a different way, or that they're doing things for you, right? And anytime you invest, whether it's coaching, mentorship, whether it's a group program or one-on-one, right, like that's not what it's about. But it can kind of feel that way, like you feel a little bit of ego there, a little bit of entitlement, like I invested all this money, right? Like supposed to make things easier, and it does, right? It does, but in a different way. And so there were, what I've had to learn in investing in 3 was I have to also be very keen on what their strengths are, so that I'm leveraging each one of their zones of genius with what it is that I really need support with in that moment. And each one of my mentors have different strengths and weaknesses, and different zones of geniuses, and different approaches. So that's like really, really, really valuable. But I think the biggest kick in the ass for me was just, hey, you know what? Like, no one else can efficiently and effectively organize your schedule and reverse engineer it in a way that everything that you need to get done over the next month to 2 months gets done. Right? No one else can do that for you, right? You have to do that. And so that's a big part of the up-leveling. So anything that I learn in the process, again, the trials, the tribulations, the highs, the lows, and what I find that is really, really working for me, I'm going to share with you. And that's it for today. I went longer than I expected to, but that's the beauty of the journey. And some days it'll be way shorter. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.